A young man sat down across from me once, frustrated, holding a checking statement. He pointed at a line and asked, "What is this $13 charge, and why is it on here every single month?" I had to tell him the truth. It was a maintenance fee. He had been paying it for 2 years, and he had never once needed to. He had quietly handed his bank a few $100s for nothing. And he is not unusual. The average American pays around $300 a year in bank fees. $300 gone for services you can almost always get for free somewhere else. So today, I want to give you the honest banker's answer to a question almost nobody asks until they are annoyed. How do you actually choose a bank? Because the bank you pick and the fees you let it charge you quietly decides how much of your own money you get to keep. Quick note before we start. I spent more than 20 years working in banking, and I am sharing what I learned on the inside, but I am not your financial advisor, and this video is general education, not personal advice. Everyone's situation is different, so for decisions about your specific money, talk to a professional who can look at your full picture. With that said, let's get into it, because this one genuinely helps people. Here is the first thing I want to change in how you think. Most people treat their bank like their hometown. It is just where they have always been. They opened that account in high school, or their parents used that bank, and they have simply never questioned it since. But a bank is not your hometown. A bank is a product. It is a service you are paying for, sometimes with obvious fees, and sometimes with interest you never earn. And like any product, it can be a good deal or a bad one. You would not keep a phone plan for 15 years without ever checking if it was still any good. Your bank deserves the same honest look. Once you see your bank as a product you chose and can choose again, every decision in this video gets easier. So let's talk about the cost of a bad one, because fees are where banks quietly win and customers quietly lose. There are 4 fees I want you to know by name. The first is the monthly maintenance fee, just a charge for having the account open. It averages around $13 a month, and that is over $150 a year for nothing. The second is the overdraft fee, charged when you spend more than you have. The average is close to $30, and most banks still charge it. The third is the out-of-network ATM fee, and this one stings twice because the machine charges you and then your own bank charges you again. And the fourth is the minimum balance fee, charged if your account ever dips below a line they drew. 4 fees. Learn them, because you are about to learn how to never pay them. Now, here is the part I can tell you from the inside. None of this is hidden exactly. The fees are all printed in the disclosure, the long document nobody reads when they open the account. But the system is quietly designed around the hope that you will not pay attention. The maintenance fee is small enough each month that it does not jolt you. The overdraft fee shows up on a bad day when you are already stressed and not reading closely. The fees are not a secret. They are just placed where busy people do not look. And that is actually good news, because it means you are not powerless here. The moment you do look, the moment you read the one page that lists the fees, you have taken back almost all of the power. Awareness is the entire game. Let's go back to that young man and his $13 charge. When we looked together, the fix took about 10 minutes. His bank waived the maintenance fee completely if he simply set up a direct deposit from his job, something he could have done on day 1 if anyone had told him. He did not even need to leave. He just needed to know which lever to pull. But here is what stuck with me. He looked at the statement and said, "So this was my fault." And I told him, "No, you were never told what to look for. Nobody handed you the page that mattered. That is not a personal failing. That is just a gap in what we teach people about money." He fixed it that afternoon, and his bank quietly stopped costing him money. Same bank, same account, 0 fees. He just finally knew the rules. So, what should you actually be looking for? Let's build the checklist. A genuinely good bank for most people has a few clear traits. 1, little or no monthly maintenance fee, or one that is easy to waive with something you already do. 2, a fair approach to overdrafts, ideally a grace period or no overdraft fee at all. 3, a large convenient ATM network, or a bank that reimburses the fees when you use someone else's machine. 4, your deposits federally insured, which any legitimate bank will be. And 5, online and app tools that you can actually stand to use, because banking today mostly happens on your phone. That is the whole checklist. Notice what is not on it. The fanciest branch, the biggest name, the bank your parents used. None of that earns its way onto the list. This brings us to the choice almost everyone faces today: a big traditional bank or an online bank. Let me give you the honest banker's comparison with no sales pitch in it. A big traditional bank gives you physical branches, a person to sit with, and the comfort of a name you have known your whole life. The trade is that they tend to charge more fees and pay you almost nothing in interest. An online bank has no branches you can walk into, and that is a real downside on the day you want a human. But because they are not paying for all those buildings, online banks tend to have far lower fees and pay noticeably higher interest on your savings. Neither is the villain. The honest answer is that if you rarely set foot in a branch, an online bank may simply be a better product for you. If sitting across from a person matters to you, that comfort is real and it is worth something. Now, I want to name the most expensive fee of all, and it is one that never appears on any statement. It is the cost of inertia, the cost of just staying because switching feels like a hassle. Think about it honestly. If your current bank charges you $150 a year in maintenance fees and pays you almost nothing on your savings, while a better bank would pay real interest, the true cost of staying is not zero. It can quietly be hundreds of dollars every year, year after year. Banks understand inertia better than anyone. They are counting on the fact that switching feels harder than it is. But moving a bank account today is mostly a weekend task. And when you measure that one weekend against years of unnecessary fees, the math stops being close. Staying put is a choice, and it has a price tag. So if you decide to move, let's make it painless, because the fear of a messy switch is what keeps most people stuck. Here is the calm, simple order. First, open the new account before you touch the old one. You want both open at the same time. Second, make a short list of everything that automatically hits your old account: your direct deposit coming in and the automatic payments going out, the utilities, the subscriptions, the loan. Third, move your direct deposit over to the new account and wait until you see a full paycheck land there safely. Fourth, move your automatic payments across one by one. And only then, fifth, once nothing is still pointing at the old account, you close it and you ask for written confirmation that it is closed. Follow that order and a bank switch is not a headache. It is just a careful checklist, done once. So here is the whole thing in plain language, the way I would tell someone I cared about. Stop treating your bank like a fact of life and start treating it like the product it is. Tonight, find the fee disclosure for your current account, or just pull up your last few statements and look for those 4 fees: maintenance, overdraft, out-of-network ATM, and minimum balance. If you are paying any of them, you have 2 honest moves. Call your bank and ask exactly what it takes to waive that fee, because often it is one small change. Or take it as your signal to find a better product, using the 5-point checklist from earlier. You are not being disloyal. The bank has been treating your account like a product the entire time. You are simply allowed to do the same. Your money should be working for you, not quietly leaking away in fees you never agreed to notice. So let's go back one last time to that young man and his $13 charge. The number that stuck with me was small, just $13, but spread over the 2 years he had been paying it, that one quiet fee had cost him more than $300. And the fix was a 10-minute conversation he never knew he was allowed to have. That is what this whole video is really about. Not anger at banks, they are just running a product. It is about you knowing the rules well enough that the product works for you instead of against you. So here is your one task tonight. Pull up your bank statement and hunt for those 4 fees. If you find one, you now know exactly what to do about it. Your money is worth that 10 minutes. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. I will see you in the next video.